Sixers win it! Wow!
Oh, man, Embiid just posterized Russell Westbrook.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get a hell yeah!
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Party on Broad. Today, we are breaking down an interesting defensive prospect for the Philadelphia 76ers. Got loads of athleticism. He is Aaron Henry. And to break him down is my man, Tiago. Be sure to follow him on Twitter at @tscabia. Good morning, Tiago.
What's up, Chris? Excited to talk about Aaron Henry on the eve of another Sixers playoff game. Hopefully it's going to be a win tomorrow, but we can still talk about the draft because it's coming up in July and the Sixers have a couple of interesting draft picks to make.
If the bread and butter of the Philadelphia 76ers is defense, this guy definitely has to be attractive to Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers. Let's start the tape. Tiago, what are some of Aaron Henry's strengths?
Yeah, so you right off the bat, you touched on it, Chris. It's got to start with defense, right? So he is 6'6", 210 pounds with a 6'9" wingspan, got a strong upper body. And when you talk about what the NBA defense looks like today, it's about switching. And when you talk about switchability, I think Aaron Henry is probably at the very top of the draft in terms of being able to defend multiple positions at a very high level. That part of his game is extremely intriguing because creating steal, you can see how, here you see a perfect example of how rangy he can be around the rim. But it's not just that, it's his size in the perimeter. You can see how it impacts shooters. He's a guy that can chase shooters off screens, can, rotate for a weak side block, can play a passing lane and generate a steal. He's got very strong hands, again, very strong core. So he's not moved around, bullied around very easily. So you start envisioning what that looks like in the NBA and being able to play multiple positions. That's very exciting, man. That's something that teams, I think, prioritize right now in the NBA. And I think it's one of the reasons why you hear Aaron Henry's name in the first round when you consider the fact that he does not have a very refined shooting game and scoring game. So and we can talk more about some of his strengths are as an offensive player, but it's really around the defense. And I think that's the reason why he's being highly talked about here coming into the NBA draft as a potential first-round pick.
Yeah, before we get into offense, let's talk about defense. 2.4 steal percentage, 4.1 block percentage. Watching the tape, dude, like he's clearly got that recoverability that kind of Matisse has. He can fight through screens. He's got really quick feet. You see so many, you see him there block like shots. That is something you saw on tape over and over and over again. So as a defensive prospect, this guy definitely is a major standout. And I liked how I saw him fighting through screens as well, which is significant when it comes to projecting his defense at the NBA level. Let's go to this offense. What do you see from him offensively?
Yeah, so one of the things that I've noticed in Michigan State's scheme, which I didn't like, is the fact that they really just had him a lot of times staying around, ball watching, not doing a lot of things in the perimeter. And he's right now a very inconsistent shooter. His shooting mechanics need work. But when you watch this guy on the ball orchestrating a basic pick and roll offense, he fits the mold of like a potentially very good secondary creator. There's things about his game offensively off a live dribble that's very exciting. His ability to see, the passer and make a thread the needle off a live dribble, orchestrating off the pick and roll action is something, again, teams in the NBA like to see. And you saw that reflective on his numbers. So this year, let me just double check and make sure that I'm saying it right. So this year, his assist rate jumped up to 25%. Career average was 18%, and it was a 12% freshman year. So you see the playmaking translating from freshman year to junior year at a very high level. So I wish that Tom Izzo and his staff incorporated more of that into his offense because you'll go through games where he just kind of standing around in the corner, watching Michigan State run some crazy, offensive set. So I think projecting that into the NBA, he's a guy who I think can potentially fit into kind of a secondary, kind of tertiary ball handler role for your offense and kind of create a little bit off the bounce. I mean, so that's something I think, again, it's probably one of the reasons why he's, again, being talked about as a first round pick for sure.
All right, here are some of his synergy numbers here. The two ones that stand out: great at cutting to the basket, excellent here, 2.4% of the time, 98 percentile, 1.7 points per possession. You see there, very good. He's a very good at as a ball handler in the pick and roll.
Right.
There it is, 71st percentile, 0.83 points per possession. Struggled a little bit in transition, struggled a little bit in spot up. I'm going to remove this and then also add another one that I found on catch and shoot here.
But that's the thing, like what you saw from that one menu that you just showed, Chris, is an ability to kind of do a little bit of everything.
Exactly.
So you got a guy at 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan who can, run pick and roll, strong body. So you can cut him, run him in transition. He's a guy who can rebound and push pace because he has that ball handling element. He's got that size to rebound off the glass. So you're thinking about, okay, now there's a miss. He grabs it. There's no extra pass. He's the guy to push it and connect your transition offense. So there's a lot to work with him on offense. But as you're showing right now, the catch and shoot is kind of a disaster. And, it's if you watch his shooting mechanics, they're a little bit twitchy. There's a little bit of hitch at the top of it. But I'll say this, though. When you watch him on the ball, you see a very good touch around the basket, which I think can translate into a range over the course of time, a shooting range over the course of time, because he does things like, take guys off the dribble, and he's got a little floater game, got a very soft touch around the basket. So for me, I'm more hopeful that these numbers can translate better at the NBA, but, we'll have to wait and see.
And talking about that, let me put this back up. There we go. Free throw line shooting. That's definitely something that translates. 161 out of 221 at the free throw line. That's good for 73%. So obviously we showed you the catch and shoot numbers, which is vital when it comes to playing on the Philadelphia 76ers. Any other negatives you want to talk about regarding Aaron Henry? We kind of touched on a lot of it. Yeah,
I mean, so it's really around the shooting. It's something that I think he's going to have to work on at a very high level because especially when we specifically talk about the Sixers, you're going to need some shooting element in the perimeter, man. You just can't have, an offense with Ben, Matisse, and Aaron Henry. That's just not going to fly in the NBA. So I really think it's around his ability to really refine his shot and also his shot selection. It's something we talk about a lot with these prospects. And I think it's more of a function of, the college system, the offense, the lack of spacing. I do think these things need to be, over time, get ironed out in the NBA system where they have a more defined kind of offense and more space to work with. But when you watch him in Michigan State, a lot of times he's just kind of floating some wild shots as well. So I'm more hopeful that the shot will translate. And if it does, man, now you're talking about a very interesting, switchy weapon that you can deploy in multiple areas of the court. So I guess we'll have to wait and see from that. But I'm hopeful. I mean, 76% from the free throw line this year, which is higher than the career average. And again, if you see the tape, you see the touch. There's touch there. It's got to be consistent, man. That's the key.
Yep. Let's talk about fit with the Philadelphia 76ers. Like the guy that I think about is Tucker from the Blue Coats, kind of that same kind of mold. He's strong. He can run up and down the court. He kind of struggles offensively. Where do you see this guy fitting in Philadelphia, man?
Yeah, so I don't see him as being such an explosive. He's got balance, no mistake about it. But I don't see him as being as explosive as Rajon Tucker. Like Rajon Tucker on the ball, just freaking screams off the tape. With the Sixers, interesting because I do think that he could potentially slide into like a stretch four type because he's such a strong player. Like if you just watch him, man, like I don't not see him get bullied. So if you think about going small with Joel and you perhaps have like Aaron Henry type as your like, like a stretch 4 ball handling four. If you think about what the Sixers have today with Mike Scott, you're not getting any ball handling. You're not even getting shooting at this point. So, can this guy be that player in the NBA? That's something I'm really interested to see because, this guy, there's not many like stretch 4s with this type of like, toolsy traits that Henry has. And Matisse is starting to defend up a position. So he's gotten a little bit stronger. I actually think that Matisse can defend some 4s in the NBA now, but he does not have the offensive traits, all the stuff that you're seeing from Henry on the ball. It just doesn't have that. So, but it'll be interesting to see, man. If you think about like, let's envision like a world where like Henry works out, right? So you got, Embiid, Henry, Ben, and perhaps Tease. Like that would be an insane defensive group, man. As like a kind of backup kind of type lineup kind of thing. So I actually like this kid a lot. He's one of my favorite prospects in the NBA draft. I would actually love if the Sixers draft this guy and just worked on the shot, give him time. He's a smart player. You can actually even play him a little bit in the NBA on certain lineups. And I do think if the Sixers if this guy ends up kind of working out, the Sixers will be hitting on a big time steal here in the first round. So we'll see. Definitely.
All right, that is Aaron Henry. Definitely struggles with shooting. But he checks a lot of boxes. He's a versatile, modern kind of wing / potential stretch 4 here for the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's wrap it up. Thiago, where can we find you? What do you got going on, man?
Yeah, man. So we'll continue to be doing this draft reviews a couple of weeks until July, where the NBA draft's gonna sneak up on us, and just watching the Sixers following up on post game live. There's a lot to talk about. The Sixers play the Hawks tomorrow. It's gonna be very interesting. Trae Young's in the house. He's gonna do some trash talking. He's gonna get the crowd fired up, and you gotta love it, man. That's why you watch basketball. It's for these type of series.
It's going to be a ton of fun. Please be sure to follow Thiago on Twitter @tscabia. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Go Sixers. We'll see you next time. Stay awesome.
And the Sixers win it! Wow! Oh, man, Embiid just posted right. Russell Westbrook.